You notice it when you don't have to.
On the next Saturday Nightmares, Chad Everett and Joseph Bottoms race against time to destroy the intruder within, followed by the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Saturday. This is the USA Network.
Now, this is a very easy household to run because there's only three of us, myself, Mr. Whitney, and Mrs. Saxon. And also, we spend a lot of time out of the house. However, it does not mean that I will tolerate sloppy service. You must all take responsibility for your duties. Now, Hermione, you'll have full charge of the kitchen.
Yes, Mrs. Whitney.
And here is a meal schedule. And you have to understand that we like to be flexible.
Flexible? Now, what would that mean?
Well, breakfast, for example, Mr. Whitney and I don't like to have together. He prefers an earlier breakfast, except on Sundays.
Breakfast, Mr. Whitney, 8 to 9 a.m., Monday through Saturday. Breakfast, Mrs. Whitney, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Monday through...
That's right, and lunch will be upon request. Dinner promptly at 8:30, unless otherwise instructed.
There are no dinner dates here, Mrs. Whitney.
No, well, we like to eat out a great deal, so you'll just have to take that into account. Now, I have here a list of Mr. Whitney's likes and dislikes.
Likes and dislikes, is it?
Yes, he's very fussy about what he eats. Now, he doesn't like carrots, turnips, liver, cauliflower, cucumbers, watercress, kidney, or chicken liver.
Sounds just like my nephew, Andrew. Of course, he's only 7.
Bobby, now, I already told you your duties. You have to answer the door when Spencer isn't available. I want you to start your housework at 8:30. And you'll start down here, and you can go upstairs at 11 if I'm awake. That's very important. Yes, Mrs. Whitney. I don't like to be disturbed by the vacuum cleaner noise. Yes, Mrs. Whitney. And, yes, I have a uniform for you here. You can go upstairs and try it on right away. Yes, ma'am. If it doesn't fit, tell me, and I'll call the department store. Go on. Yes, ma'am. Now, Hermione, you better go to the kitchen because Mr. Whitney will be home at 7. We're going to have 2 guests. And, I have a suggested menu right here.
No carrots, I see.
No. So you better get started, and I'll be in the kitchen later to check on you.
Not first.
All right, Spencer. I'll need the car at 2:30. I want to go shopping.
Very good, Mrs. Whitney. I'll wash it this morning.
Good, good. I hate to drive in front of Bennett's with a dirty car.
I'll get started right away. Excuse me.
Thank you. Well, my dear, you've been rich and you've been poor. You have to admit, rich is better. That watch. I'll get you out of this mess, Gavin. I promise I will.
Unusual, isn't it? Jody being up and out of the house before we are.
Yes, I know. She had an early appointment with Gavin's lawyer, Cliff Nelson.
That's right. Cliff will probably want to call her at the trial. She's probably the most important witness there is, even though she wasn't present at the shooting.
I suppose so. Miles?
Yeah.
You still haven't told me about last night, about what happened.
Well, I thought I did. Oh, you were probably way too sleepy to hear my humble apologies. I'm going to have to call Mike and Nancy later to apologize for not showing up.
What I meant was, you haven't told me about Jinx Avery and why you had to take her home.
Oh, well, for one thing, it turned out to be different from what Derek thought. Jinx apparently did not steal that bracelet. She paid for it. She bought it.
You're kidding.
You know?
She must have really wanted it.
Well, that's what she said. She said if she wanted badly enough to steal it, she might as well pay for it. I suppose that's why the jeweler was so willing to drop the charges.
Oh, Oh. Well, why didn't she tell Derek the truth from the beginning instead of making him think that she'd stolen it?
I think she found it amusing.
Amusing. I'm sorry, but I don't. Especially since it kept you from our dinner date.
Well, I probably still could have made it, except that her laughter very quickly turned to panic, and then tears, and I just could not leave her alone in that place sobbing her heart out. I had to take her home.
Oh, yes. I know you, Miles Cavanaugh.
Do you, baby?
Yes. You are such a soft-hearted thing when it comes to people's illness. I shouldn't complain. That's how you met me.
As a matter of fact, you should be able to sympathize with Jinx's plight. You were facing the same sort of thing not too long ago. Except in your case...
Can't there be a happy ending for her, too?
No, I don't think so. There's no known cure for this disease, as there was for yours.
Oh, that is so terribly sad. I suppose that's why she wants to indulge herself on things like $5,000 diamond bracelets.
Oh, so. She wants to grab out and get everything she's ever wanted out of life. Until her life... Well, listen, do you want some more coffee?
Yeah, here, I'll get it. You know, there is one good thing about all this.
What is that?
She's able to afford it.
Well, that's true. That bracelet must have cost an awful lot of money. And yet...
What?
It just occurred to me I didn't think she was that well off financially. She lives in a very low-rent district. How did she afford that bracelet?
Anything you want to say to me, you can say in front of Dee Dee. She'll be helping me with this case.
I hope that's okay with you.
Oh, no, that's fine. I want Gavin to get all the help he can.
Gavin gets the benefit of 2 giant legal brains for the price of 1.
Don't take him too seriously. Actually, Cliff will be handling Gavin's case. I'll just be assisting him in any way I can. Thank you, Dee Dee. I appreciate it.
Well, let's get started. Tell us what happened.
Cliff, I don't know what else I can tell you about that day. I have repeated my story a dozen times. To you, to the police, to the press, to anybody who listened.
Jody, there's still a very crucial issue in this case. And even us giant legal brains can't help Gavin until it's resolved.
Yeah, I know what it is. Gavin tells one story and the police tell another.
No, the medical report tells another. It says the shot was fired from quite a distance away. Gavin says something else.
I'm sorry. I still believe Gavin.
Jody, Mike Carr went to prison to see Gavin, and I was there.
And?
Well, Mike is going to prosecute this case. I think he's on our side, figuratively, but I think he went there to warn Gavin that if he persists with this story, Mike has no choice but to destroy his credibility.
The jury will simply think that Gavin is lying, that he refuses to accept any responsibility for his actions.
Gavin needs the sympathy of that jury from the opening day of the trial to the day I make my summation.
So what is it you're getting at?
Well, you trust your brother-in-law, don't you?
With my life?
Well, Miles is going to be called as a witness, and he's going to have to say that it's his own autopsy which says that Gunther Wagner was shot from at least 10 feet away. And when he does, that's the end of our case, Jody. And that's the end of Gavin.
Jody, Cliff got absolutely nowhere with Gavin in trying to make him understand the seriousness of this problem. We're at a dead end, almost before we get started.
And that's why you wanted to see me this morning, isn't it? You want me to change Gavin's mind.
Well, don't worry about that. Come on, tell me what's going on there. Star, of course I got the letter. How else would I know it was D Day? D for decision, right? Come on. Yeah? Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, I know. It doesn't mean much unless the show's ahead, but look, with you standing up there right out front, how could it be anything else? Oh. Yeah, I understand. Look, just try and call me whenever you can, okay? I'm real happy for you, baby. Sure I will. So long.
I can't tell whether that's good news or bad news.
Good. No, really, it's terrific. Star got the part in the show. She's the second lead, and they start rehearsals this afternoon.
Right, that's great. Well, hey, next time you see her, tell her I say congratulations.
I will do just that whenever next time is. I was just informed that she's going to be all tied up for the next several weeks.
That's only natural, right?
Yeah, of course she's not sure it's going to be a hit. And if it is...
If it is, you probably will be seeing her even less than you do now, right?
Unless I move this desk to New York City.
Are you kidding? I'm just getting used to you.
You know, Damien, I feel real strange. My wife has the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm not even sure that I want it to succeed.
Detective Tyler,
Oh, what is it?
you left this in your old desk and found it in the back of a drawer.
Oh, thanks, gorgeous.
You're welcome. Gorgeous.
Hey. What's that?
Oh, it's just some old files. I'd forgotten I even had these.
Yeah, well, that doesn't seem to make you feel too happy.
Yeah, it's a very personal letter. Didn't make me too happy the first time I read it either. You know, I think I might know somebody who'd be interested in this letter.
This week on TNT, Captain Louis Albano will join us along with George the Animal Steel, Lady Wrestler Candice Pardue, also Adrian Adonis, and the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Ethel, they're playing our song. Ethel, they're playing our song.
When you're the life of the party, you never sit.
Ethel, they're playing our song.
But your dirty dishes do, and that can leave you with a real headache the next morning. That's the time to reach for Sunlight dishwasher detergent. Lemon Scent Sunlight cuts tough, stuck-on food easily. Nothing cleans dishes that sit better. Try Lemon Sunlight. It really stands up to dishes that sit.
P.S. I love you.
Progresso Soup, I love you, for your minestrone.
I love you for your chicken noodle. The best tasting soup.
This side of my soup.
P.S. Progresso Soup, I love you.
Nothing gets out every stage, but Era Plus gets out many of the toughest with the power of protein. Era Plus.
So soft towels. Jump in. Sweet smelling sheets. Jump. No cling to most anything. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce for clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump. Come on in. Jump in. Feel the touch. Jump. You are the one. You feel so good around me. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce for clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump.
Wow, what a party.
Lasagna, what a mess.
Take me to your kitchen.
You'll help do the dishes?
Not with that lemon liquid. Here's something better for this job. Introducing new improved Joy. One little squirt puts the toughest squeeze on dirt. Look, Joy cleans better than your lemon liquid on foods like this.
My brand couldn't cut the dirt.
Joy left its dish shining.
Joy made this sparkle.
Uh-huh. Beautiful table you set.
Thanks to Joy.
New lemon fresh Joy. One little squirt puts the toughest squeeze on dirt.
Nelson and Bannister.
Police officer.
Hi, Calvin.
Oh, well, look, aren't you gonna ask me how I am?
How are you, Calvin?
I'm glad you asked. Actually, I'm not too terrific at the moment, but I don't want you to start getting the impression that I only call you when I'm down in the dumps.
Well, what are friends for?
Look, I'm gonna make this brief. I want to see you, Dee.
You can always make an appointment with my secretary. Come to think of it, I don't have a secretary.
Well, in that case, maybe I can make one with you directly.
Oh, Calvin.
Look, before you say no, it's about business.
In what way?
Well, you're defending Gavin Wiley, right? You and Cliff?
Yes?
Well, I'm the arresting officer, and I'm his best friend. I mean, I really think you gotta talk to me, Sherry.
Counselor.
Sorry. I meant I think you should hear my views on the case, counsel.
Look, Calvin, I'm just playing second banana to Cliff on this case. Why don't you talk to him directly?
Well, if you want to know that, I'll answer it. Because when I talk, Dee Dee, I want to look at you.
It was a nightmare. 22 people. Some party.
I cooked all day.
Linguine, fettuccine, rollatini, ossobuco.
Sounds delicious.
It was awful.
The food?
The spots on my glasses. Even the silverware had spots.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Spots.
Spots for 22 people. And when they've got spots, they're disgusting. I felt like a unmade bed.
In front of all those people.
Nothing's worse than a dishwasher full of spotty dishes. That's why you need Cascade. Cascade sheeting action leaves dishes virtually spotless. And when they're virtually spotless...
This time I did it right. Cascade.
Beautiful. What are you serving?
Pizza.
Pizza.
For virtually spotless dishes, nothing beats Cascade.
Each player holds a riddle, but only one will win. 4:30 Eastern on USA, weekdays.
Tatum O'Neal, Christy McNichol,
Do you care about me a little?
Matt Dillon, Little Darlings, a USA premiere event.
Tuesday, January 21st.
I'm Charles Schwab. Over 1 million investors who make their own investment decisions trade with us. Here are a few reasons why.
Okay, good, thanks. Bye. There, I took your advice and bought that stock.
Already? You were on the phone less than a minute.
Oh, sure. I called Charles Schwab, placed the order, and they told me the price I paid, all in less than a minute.
Charles Schwab is fast.
And they saved me money on brokerage commissions.
How much do you say? 25, 30%?
More like 70% compared to what I used to pay my full commission broker.
Now that's a good deal.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. You know, you really should call Schwab.
I think I will.
For a free booklet on how you can save up to 76% on brokerage commissions, call 800-445-4500, toll free. That's 800-445-4500. Charles Schwab, a Bank America company, member SIPC.
That's what Bobby said, that she saw Sky with the pocket watch at Sid's, and the tune that it played was not Old Lang Syne.
Devin, that's great. That could mean...
Hold it. All it may mean is that Bobby Gerard is tone deaf.
Oh, she must know Auld Lang Syne. Everybody does.
Of course, but let's face it, that's a tiny music box and a small watch.
Okay, but if it is the same thing, then it could be the same theory. I mean, that there are two pocket watches.
Sure, it may mean that, but who knows for sure? Even if we believe it, what are we going to do about it? Go running to my car and Derek Mallory and start yelling about Sky Whitney's watch all over again?
Forget it. They won't even listen to us after what happened last time.
It'd be great if we could prove that Sky still has the watch that Gunther showed you, but I'm afraid that we blew the one chance we had, Jody.
God, life's so unfair.
I don't blame life. I blame Sky Whitney. I am convinced that he was in that studio, and he's the one that knocked Miles unconscious to make sure that Gunther died. But just believing is not going to get me out of this jam.
Maybe there's something else you can do.
Yeah, like what?
It's not going to be easy. But, Gavin, you can't go on saying that you were struggling with Gunther for the gun and that he was the one that pulled the trigger. Listen to me. You just have to make sure that the story agrees with the facts.
You don't believe me either.
Sweetheart, I didn't say that.
You're just making believe that you believe me. Trying to humor me. Oh, thanks a lot. Make me feel better.
Gavin, it doesn't matter what I believe, only what a jury will believe.
The hell with what the jury believes. I'm telling you the truth. Why would I lie to you now?
I know you're telling me the truth, and I do believe you. All I know is what Mike and Cliff and Miles and everybody else is telling me. That you are making things harder for yourself, that you're your own worst enemy.
Someone asked you to tell me that. Come on, be honest.
Yes, somebody asked me to do this. Only I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think it was the right thing.
To lie. To save myself.
Don't put it that way. The jury is going to think you're lying if you say that you struggled with Gunther only because of the autopsy. It just doesn't sound true anymore. Can't you imagine how it's going to be for me? In court, watching my own brother-in-law helping them to send the man I love to prison.
Okay, miss. Time to go now.
I am damned one way or the other. Hello, Spencer. How come you're not driving the boss around today?
Mrs. Whitney is expecting you, sir.
Hello, Mrs. Whitney.
Hello. Spencer, why don't you go tell Hermione to bring us some coffee?
Yes, ma'am, if I can get in the kitchen.
You have to knock first. We have a new cook.
Oh, really? Well, I told you I wouldn't take up much of your time.
Oh, well, sit down, please. You said it was very important.
Well, it may be that it's just important to me. I don't know. What I have here is a letter that my father wrote just before his death.
A suicide note?
I guess you could call it that. Although I didn't realize that was the way it was intended when I received it. Anyway, I thought since we had that conversation about my father that you might be interested in hearing what he wrote.
I don't know. I'm not really big on depressing things.
It's not a very long letter.
All right.
It says, Dear Damien, I'm sure you're surprised to hear from me. It's been a long time since I've had the occasion to write you. Well, he goes on to talk a lot about us, but he says, I know I've been a shamefully inarticulate parent, perhaps shameful in other ways as well. Certainly you could call me neglectful these past few years while I've had to give all that I had to give of myself to your mother. I know you have forgiven me for that neglect, but now I have committed a crime for which there is no forgiveness.
Sounds like he's admitting it.
I've brought shame on you, Damien, that I can never erase. I am guilty. What you've heard about me from the others is true. I am responsible for the loss of that document, totally and completely responsible.
Oh, my God.
Please hear the rest. I was the one who decided to take those classified documents out of the office. I was the one who decided to ignore the strict rules of secrecy and bring them home with me. I knew better, but I just did it the same. When I realized that I had lost or misplaced one of them, probably the most important document of all, I knew that no one else could be blamed. I'm guilty, Damien. And again, my crime is neglect. But this time, the crime of neglect is tantamount to treason. The guilt is just as great. The penalty must be just as severe. I'm sure you know the penalty for treason. The historic penalty.
It'll work on your dandruff. Yeah, but I'm afraid it won't leave my hair the way I like it. Hey, this is great stuff.
Today's Head and Shoulders.
It's all I use. Okay.
Tough dandruff protection that works only on your scalp, not your hair. Gentle conditioners go there.
Tough on dandruff, right? But great on hair.
Today's Head and Shoulders. Dandruff care that's good for your hair.
Do you know what all these people have in common? They are all members of the National Rifle Association. Why have 3 million Americans joined the NRA? For just $15, you receive full membership, which includes $300 gun theft insurance, $10,000 accidental death and dismemberment insurance, $100,000 shooter's liability insurance, and your choice of NRA's official magazines, The American Hunter or The American Rifleman. NRA is easily the shooter's biggest bargain, so why not join now? To join the NRA, simply dial the toll-free number on your screen.
Join the NRA today and get an NRA Shooters Camp free. To join, call toll-free, 1-800-453-1904, 1-800-453-1904. We'll bill you later.
On the next cover story, Barney Miller's Making Magic. Hal Linden talks about life after Barney Miller.
Barney was reactive. Alexander is active.
And his new series, Black's Magic.
That's probably what attracted me to it, was the ability to stand up on a stage and be theatrical.
It's no illusion.
Everything you've ever wanted to know, and probably a lot more, about Hal Linden on Cover Story.
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on USA Saturday.
Do you understand that my father felt so guilty about the loss of that document that he condemned himself to pay the price?
That's awful. It sounds like all he did was lose the papers.
Well, I'm not saying that was the only reason. He'd been in a state of deep depression ever since my mother's death.
Well, just the same, I mean, if I were punished every time I lost something, believe me, I'd be in big trouble.
Well, it was how it was lost that matters. He should never have taken that document home with him. I still don't understand why he did. It doesn't make any sense. He's been around secret documents all his life.
But do you know why?
Of course not. I wasn't there. But Jefferson Brown was there.
That was your father's assistant, right?
Yes. And he knew how wrong and how risky it was for my father to take those documents off the premises.
Well, what if he didn't know?
But he knew everything my father did.
How do you know that? You said you weren't even there.
No. I was in Boston. That's where I received this letter.
Well, then you couldn't possibly know. It sounds to me like you're just making up an alibi, an excuse for your father.
Well, maybe I am. But if my father was guilty of the sin of neglect, he was neglecting to recognize that Jefferson Brown was a man who could not be trusted. Somehow, Jefferson Brown managed to remove one of those documents before my father took them home.
Look, I really don't want to hear any more of this. I mean, I'm very sorry about your father, but I have things to do today, okay?
Okay. Sorry I took so much of your time. Thanks very much for listening to me.
To keep a straight face.
Can anybody do one?
On TV's funniest game show, Make Me Laugh. At 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Weekdays on USA. This is the USA Network.
You always take your purse when you go for a little stroll?
Give me.
You're acting a little funny upstairs, Bobby.
What is going on here?
Sorry, Mrs. Whitney. I'm afraid you hired yourself a thief.
That must be Scotter. I'm very glad he's back.
Listen, I can explain. I did take the watch, but I had a reason.
Oh, well, what's this, a welcoming committee?
Looks like another robbery, Mr. Whitney.
What's that?
I found the maid upstairs in your bedroom earlier today. She was acting rather suspiciously.
I didn't even know we had a new maid.
I hired her.
Go on, Spencer.
Well, as I said, she had kind of a guilty look on her face. And just now I caught her trying to leave. She said she wanted to take a walk. That's when I decided to take a look into her purse.
And?
I found this.
It's my watch.
There must be an explanation for this.
There is, if you just let me tell you.
For heaven's sake, let the poor girl speak.
I did have the watch, but I wasn't stealing it. I was going to get it fixed.
Oh, well, that's a new one. And what made you think that it needed to be fixed, whatever your name is?
His name is Bobby. She was a waitress at Sid's Tavern.
Oh, yeah, I thought she looked familiar.
Listen, I can explain this. I was upstairs making the bed, and then I went over and I started dusting the dresser, and I saw the watch. I picked it up. I was looking at it. I dropped it.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess burglary does make one nervous.
I just wanted to look at it. I've never seen a watch like that up close. Anyway, when I picked it up, I noticed the crystal's broken.
She's right, it is.
And the tune doesn't play. All I wanted to do was to find somebody who could fix it before you found out. That's all it was, I swear.
Evening, Mike.
Hello, Kelly.
Looks like you're getting ready to watch a movie on TV, huh?
No. I thought I'd have a visit with my wife. Nancy's going to be on the air in about 15 minutes, interviewing that radio talk show host.
Oh, right, Larry King. Glad I got home early.
Well, you could have watched it at Valerie's place.
Yeah, I could have, but dinner with Valerie kind of ended on a negative note. No, it wasn't her fault, it was mine. I just wasn't able to avoid mentioning a certain subject.
Jim Dietrichson?
Yeah. Can you believe that guy actually has the nerve to open up a business here in Monticello? He's taken over Gavin Wiley's old dance studio and to turn it into some sort of a phony acting school.
Why do you assume it's phony?
Mike, as DA, you've taught me a very valuable lesson. What you see is not always what you get. And that's the way I feel about Jim Dietrichson.
Sounds as if you haven't accepted that he's the man he says he is.
You're right, I haven't.
Even though he passed our test with flying colors?
Yeah, he may have passed the test with flying colors, but I think it was a lucky guess.
Is that what you told Valerie at dinner?
That's what I told her, and that's why she got upset.
Well, you have different points of view. She'd like to believe he's genuine. You'd like to believe he's a fake.
Yeah, I would. Because he's a fake, that means that Valerie will shut him right out of her life. Now, tell me something. Can you blame me for feeling that way?
No, I can't. You know what they say about love and war. Speaking of war, didn't you tell me that Dietrichson is a Marine?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's his story anyway. He was wounded in Vietnam, he was captured by the Viet Cong, you know, big war hero and everything that goes with it.
You know, there's another test for authenticity we could try.
What kind of test?
Military records aren't secrets, and I've got a couple of friends who could expedite things. I'll see what I can do about that tomorrow.
Well, you could just ignore me. I'll just sit in the corner and watch.
Oh, no, I think you gotta take part, Cliff. I mean, all we're gonna be doing today is just getting to know each other and talking about our acting ambitions.
But I don't have any acting ambitions. I'm a lawyer.
But Cliff, you said yourself a lawyer is a lot like an actor.
Yeah, I know, but I say a lot of dumb things.
No, there's some truth in that. I mean, I had to know. I found out that when I was excited about acting, it wasn't in acting classes, it was in law school.
Yeah?
You were a lawyer?
Yeah, I was gonna be. Then after the third year in law school, I dropped everything and joined the Marines.
Huh, why'd you do that?
Well, things were getting kind of heavy. It had to do with a girlfriend of mine. But, well, that's my history. I'm more interested in yours.
Well, I was raised by royalty. And after a very difficult childhood, at the age of 6, a band of gypsies came and captured me. They sent me off to law school.
Cliff, aren't you handling the Gavin Wiley case?
Yeah, I am.
This was his dance studio, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I used to take classes with him right here. See, that's why I asked him to class today. I thought maybe we could give him some help.
What kind of help?
Well, I thought maybe he could act out his summation to the jury, you know, and we could tell him what's good and what's bad about it. I think that's a terrific idea.
No, that's great. In fact, we could just be the jurors, you know. We could pretend that we're in the minds, the bodies of the jurors, and then we'll help you out that way.
Well,
sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, do it.
Okay. But I know this may not be what I'm going to say finally. You know, something may happen in the courtroom and change my mind.
Just pretend that this is your summation today, and then go ahead with it.
Okay. I don't want to do this. Come on. Come on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Oh. Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. There are a few questions you're going to have to answer about Gunther Wagner before you decide on the fate of Gavin Wiley. First of all, did Gunther Wagner deserve to die? Well, you've heard testimony, not refuted by the prosecution, that Gunther Wagner was a brutal, vicious, amoral, antisocial, even criminal person. That's right, criminal. He committed an act of violence against the defendant, Gavin Wiley, ending a promising dancing career. He more than once assaulted a helpless young woman, Jody Travers, and had Miss Travers not escaped, he would have committed the crime of rape. When Gavin Wiley confronted Gunther Wagner concerning this attempted rape, Gunther Wagner decided to commit another crime. He decided to make good his threat against Gavin Wiley, a threat so real that it forced the defendant to maintain a loaded weapon on the premises against his will. A threat to break and mangle the leg that he had already rendered useless. A threat that Gunther Wagner was willing to carry out, even though Gavin Wiley was carrying a loaded pistol. A pistol like this, which I now place in your hands. Gunther Wagner gave Gavin Wiley no choice but to raise that gun and fire it. Did Gunther Wagner deserve to die? We, the defense and the defendant, say no. That's right, no. No one deserves to die, just as no brutality can be excused. No. The question that you have to answer is, what would you have done in this situation? What would you have done? Or you? Gavin Wiley didn't want Gunther Wagner to die, just as you wouldn't have. Revenge wasn't his motive, just as it wouldn't have been yours. Anger was not what motivated him to pull that trigger, just as it wouldn't have done you. But he pulled that trigger out of a basic human instinct of self-preservation. What would you have done? What would you have done if this vicious, brutal giant were approaching you? Contemptuous of your small stature. Contemptuous of your lack of will. Contemptuous even of the loaded gun in your hand. Approaching you, threatening you, his intentions all too clear. Thank you for answering the question.
Not guilty.
Not guilty, not guilty!
Not guilty. Congratulations. I think you've won a case.
Yeah. There's just one trouble with it.
What?
My client says it didn't happen that way.
On the next Saturday Nightmares, Chad Everett and Joseph Bottoms race against time to destroy the intruder within, followed by the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Saturday.
The day's looking new and bright, and you're gonna start it right. For you're coming through, your home is calling you. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your car.
Nothing brightens your morning like mountain-grown Folgers, because mountain-grown coffee has more enticing aroma and richer flavor than any other kind.
That rich aromatic blend, your best morning friend. Starts you off feeling good, the day goes like it should. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
It has the power of protein. The power to clean many tough stains. It's the power of Era Plus, the quarter-cup laundry detergent with stain-cleansing proteins. And while nothing gets out every stain, Era Plus has the power to clean many of the toughest. Era Plus,
stains come clean with the power of protein.
P.S. I love you.
Progresso Soup, I love you, for your minestrone.
I love you for your chicken noodle. The best tasting soup.
This side of my soup.
P.S. Progresso Soup, I love you.
Some of them have talent, some of them. 5:30 Eastern on USA tomorrow.
Chuck Person leads the Auburn Tigers up against the Alabama Crimson Tide on USA's SEC Thursday night game of the week.
You can't go on like this. You can't. You can't keep saying that you struggled with Gunther.
But I did. I did.
Oh, Gavin.
Tony, it's the way it happened, I swear.
But don't you see? If you keep saying that Gunther was the one that pulled the trigger...
He was. I never even touched the trigger.
You have to make the story agree with the facts.
You don't believe me. You don't believe me. You think I'm lying.
It's not a question of what I believe. It's what the jury will believe. And they'll think you're lying if you say you struggled with Gunther. That doesn't sound true anymore.
That's right, Gavin. I did the autopsy, Gavin. It proved the medical examiner's statement. There's conclusive proof that Gunther was shot from a distance.
There can't be.
You shot that gun from a distance, Gavin. There's no doubt of it.
Oh, my God. Miles, what can I do?
Well, that's up to you. But why stick with what you claim is the truth when it sounds like a lie?
Back sooner than I thought you'd be.
Yeah, we wanted to get home in time for Nancy's interview.
Now, how'd it go tonight, Jody? My car came over, didn't it?
Yeah, he was here. Went all right. He was really very nice.
We promised you there'd be no rubber hoses. It didn't upset you too much, did it?
No. No, not at all. He was really very thoughtful. I guess the problem was I didn't know what to say.
Well, Mike just wanted to find a way the two of you could help each other. Most importantly, find a way to help Gavin.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I didn't do him any good.
Why? What did he want to know?
Well, mostly he wanted to know how I felt about Gavin's story of the shooting, whether I believed him or not. And of course I said I did.
Well, of course you do. And we all want to, honey. It's just if the facts...
Look, it's almost time for Nancy's television program. Shouldn't we turn on the set?
Yeah. Oh, Miles, I almost forgot. There was a phone call for you while you were out.
No, I hope it wasn't the hospital or there goes Nancy's program.
No, it wasn't. It was a woman. She left this number for you to call.
Wait a minute. Let me guess. Her name is, Jinx Avery.
Oh, look at that chocolatey Duncan Hines Devil's Food Cake. Now if I can just get the kids to wait.
Who can wait?
Chocolate lovers can't help but help themselves to a moist, delicious cake from Duncan Hines.
The rich, fudgy cocoa of 6 milk chocolate bars goes into every Duncan Hines chocolate cake for a moist, delicious taste that melts in every bite.
It's a moist, delicious way to bake your best.
Good thing I always bake more than one.
You're the best!
Duncan Hines.
So soft towels. Jump in! Sweet smelling sheets. Jump! No cling to most anything. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce for clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump! Come on in. Jump in! Feel the touch. Jump! You are the one. You feel so good around me. Jump, 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 jump. Bounce for clothes you can't wait to jump into. Jump!
With my lifestyle, I need to spend my time wisely. So when I watch television, I watch Memphis Cablevision. One of my favorites is the Lifetime channel.
A woman's life is full of challenges, and the Lifetime channel can help women make the most of them. Lifetime brings you and your family health and fitness programs, shows that explore the demands and joys of being a parent, plus the latest information on everything from fashion and style to career development and personal growth.
Cablevision makes my television time quality time.
Each year, hundreds of children disappear in the Memphis area alone. Cablevision, the Commission on Missing and Exploited Children, and the Memphis Police Department need your help in locating this person. Michelle Joyce Fox was last seen in Adairsville, Georgia last September 25th. She is 16 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, and 110 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information about Michelle Joyce Fox, call 528-2005.
You're all right? No headaches, no dizziness, no other symptoms?
No, I feel just great. In fact, I feel so good, I think the whole thing has disappeared, and I'll probably live till I'm 100.
Well, that might very well be true. Look, the best way to find out is pay me a visit at my office. Let me take a look at you. As a matter of fact, a better idea would be to set up a regular schedule of appointments.
You know, I think you're right.
Well, that's great. Why don't you call my nurse tomorrow and set up an appointment, huh?
Better yet, why don't I come in tomorrow myself? First thing?
All right.
Great. I'll see you then, Doctor.
Jinx, wait a minute.
Yes?
Well, there's something I wanted to ask you about that bracelet of yours.
Don't worry, Doctor. I'm not going to use it for any more tricks on you or the chief of police. He was so mad when he finally found out that I'd bought it.
Yes, well, that was my question. The first time I saw you, you indicated you weren't exactly rolling in money.
That's the truth.
And yet you go out and you buy a bracelet worth over $5,000?
Doctor, nobody uses cash anymore. What's so amazing about that?
What?
I charged it, of course. I have credit cards. In fact, my credit is pretty good.
I see. Now, look, it's still a great deal of money.
Doctor, don't worry. The bill will come in a month or two, and, well, they can just collect it from my estate then. Goodbye.
Jinx,
I'll see you tomorrow.
Be on just about now?
It'll be great to see Nancy on television again.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Late-night radio programs in America. And one of the most successful people in that field is Larry King, who conducts interviews of some of the most fascinating people in the world. In the first part of his program, in the wee hours of the morning, he interviews show business celebrities, prominent politicians, sports figures, authors, musicians, everyone who's worth talking to. And in the second part of his program, in the pre-dawn hours, Larry King gives America a chance to do the talking. He accepts phone calls from listeners on any subject, and he accepts calls from all over the country. Well, tonight, I have the opportunity to talk to Larry King myself. Good evening, Mr. King.
Good evening, Miss Carr, and thanks for having me on your show.
This is a little early for you to be working, isn't it?
Well, actually, I started work several hours ago getting ready for the celebrity guest who's going to be on with me on the radio tonight. Your husband's a lawyer, isn't he?
Yes, that's right, he is.
Well, every lawyer says that the way to win a case is to be prepared before you go into court.
Just as you prepare before you interview your guests.
That's right. Listen, Mrs. Carr, do you mind if I get out of this little box? It's very cramped.
Yes, I'm glad you did.
That's better. It's good to be on television for a change.
Well, Mr. King, I'm delighted to be able to give your listeners a chance to be your viewers for a change.
There's one difference, though. I'm used to your seat. I'm used to asking questions. This time I'm the interviewee. It's kind of funny being on the spot.
Oh, you would never be on a spot, I'm sure.
It's just where I'd like to get Jim
Are
Dietrichson.
there any particular subjects that you find that come up?
You've got no right to make these arbitrary decisions. This is my house, you know.
You spend half the time in this house that I do. Why shouldn't I be the one to make the domestic decisions?
Geraldine, you've hired domestics before. Now, don't you think that it's
please,
ridiculous?
leave me out of it. What I want to know is, am I the mistress of this house, or am I just your mistress?
I think I'll go upstairs.
No, Geraldine, tell him. I'm the one who spends all the time here. I'm the one that should make the decisions.
A fine decision you made. You hired a thief.
Now, Scott, you're being grossly unfair. I think the girl's story was very plausible.
Of course she was telling the truth. The watch was broken.
Yeah, in her haste to steal it.
Now, that's nonsense. If the girl was going to rob you, would she do it on her very first day here? And would she choose one small item?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you're right. It certainly wasn't An ordinary robbery.
There was no robbery. The only one that's being robbed around here is me of my good maid.
All right, all right. You don't have to fire her.
All right, I'll go and get her so you can tell her so.
Come on. Stop being angry.
I can't help it.
You are the mistress of the house, you know.
Am I?
Of course, but I'd still like to think of you as being my mistress.
You're making such a fuss over that watch, I wish I hadn't given it to you.
Okay.
No. I've told Bobby the good news.
I'm really very sorry, Mr. Whitney. I was very stupid.
Yeah, all right, Bobby. Just be more careful in the future when you're, dusting.
Yes, sir, I will.
Go wash your face, Bobby. You look a mess.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and shower and change. I feel like a wreck. Oh, what is this new maid's last name?
You want to know something? I never asked her.
P.S. I love you.
Progresso Soup, I love you, for your minestrone.
I love you for your chicken noodle. The best tasting soup.
This side of my soup.
P.S. Progresso Soup, I love you.
When it's time to close your bag, are you going to rely on something wimpy or something hefty?
Hefty, hefty, hefty. Hefty.
The cinch sack from Hefty. Fill it up and it closes up. Reopen it and put in more.
Hefty, hefty, hefty.
Want a bag that'll close every time? Then don't send a wimpy bag to do a hefty job.
Hefty.
The amazing cinch sack from Hefty.
Will Princess Caroline's pregnancy save her shaky marriage? Inquiring minds want to know.
I want to know.
How can you lose weight while fighting winter chills? This week's National Enquirer tells you. Which Dallas star gets AIDS on TV's hotel? Is too much sugar driving you up a wall?
It's in the Enquirer.
Crystal fights her double. Who wins Dynasty's biggest battle? Find out in the Enquirer. Over 100 features for people with inquiring minds.
Like me.
For 4 long years, they've toiled. Now, the class of 1985 have finally completed their education. This year's Gridiron graduates showcased their talents one final time in the 1985 Senior Bowl live, commencing at 1 p.m. Eastern, Saturday on USA Sports.
There's great Western action Sunday on USA. At 6 Eastern, the Monroes must make peace with a crafty neighbor. Then at 7, a widow seeks help from the Virginian. At 8:30, the Lancers become involved in a bitter feud with a notorious outlaw. And at 9:30, Lee Van Cleef guest stars on Wanted, Dead or Alive. Sunday on USA. Discover the secrets of the animal kingdom on the Wild, Wild World of Animals. Tomorrow.
Tatum O'Neal, Christy McNichol,
Do you care about me a little?
Matt Dillon, Little Darlings, a USA premiere event.
At 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday.
Pardon me, Miss Whitney. I just wanted to ask if there was any further need of the car this evening.
No, Spencer, I don't think we shall be going out.
Very good, ma'am.
Oh, Spencer,
Yes, Mrs. Whitney?
I just wanted you to know that Mr. Whitney and I don't think that Bobby was really doing any harm. We don't think that she was really trying to steal the watch.
I hope that's true, Mrs. Whitney.
I know you were suspicious and you had a right to be. God knows that this house has been a magnet for burglars lately, but we do think that she was going to have the watch repaired.
Yes, ma'am. I suppose that could be the case. Only it seems a rather strange hour to find a jeweler.
I guess maybe she was just a little confused. Looks like I'm going to have to get the watch repaired now. I guess maybe I can go to the same place where Sky bought this.
Why have I been so stupid? Why do I keep this damn thing around? I should just get rid of it once and for all. Yeah. And this one, too. I should dump them both in the river. Out of the sight of prying eyes and clumsy servants. That maid, Bobby. restaurant? Oh, wait a minute. It was something else. The one who helped Gavin Wiley escape.
Tatum O'Neill, Christy